I was only supposed to grab my charger and leave. Matt was in the kitchen making sandwiches, music humming from his phone. His parents were due back any minute. Quick in, quick out, that was the plan. But plans don't survive closed doors. Not when the wrong door opens at the wrong time. Not when someone's sister is on the other side of it. It was late afternoon on a gray Saturday. The house felt heavier than usual. Quiet upstairs. Smell of detergent from the laundry room mixing with toast from downstairs. I climbed the carpeted stairs 2 at a time, turned left instead of right, and pushed a door open without knocking. That's when I saw her. She was by the window of her bedroom. Hoodie loose, pale shorts clinging to her hips, one earbud in, hair a little messy like she just rolled out of bed. Sunlight from the side window cut a stripe across her stomach. She didn't flinch. She didn't cover up. She looked right at me with an expression halfway between surprise and something else entirely. Then she hooked her thumbs under the hem of her hoodie, lifted it just enough to show more of her flat stomach, and said, almost playfully, "You like what you see?" Heat rushed to my face. I muttered something like, "Sorry," and stepped back toward the hallway. But she took a step forward instead, closing the space. Her voice dropped. "Relax. No one's coming up here. Matt's downstairs. Mom's out. Dad's at work." She let the hoodie fall back down, but her eyes stayed on me, weighing me, like she was daring me to blink first. I glanced toward the door, but she reached out and touched my wrist lightly, just enough to stop me. "One rule," she whispered. "You can't tell Matt. Ever." She tilted her head. "Swear." My throat was dry. I nodded before I could think about it. She smiled, small and sharp, like a secret. Then footsteps hit the stairs. Matt's voice calling up, "Hey, you find it? Charger's in my room." My heart jumped into my mouth. She moved fast, tugging me back into her room and shutting the door quietly, finger to her lips. "Don't move." The handle rattled once. He was just closing doors as he passed. Then the footsteps retreated. Downstairs, the music clicked off. A dog barked outside. For a moment, all I heard was my own heartbeat. I exhaled. "I should go," I whispered. She leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, hoodie hanging loose again. "Sure," she said. "Go. But now you've seen me like this. You think you can just forget it?" Her tone was half mocking, half serious. I shook my head, reached for the knob. Downstairs, Matt called, "Taking the dog out. Back in 15. The front door clicked shut. Through the window, I saw him walking away with the leash. The house fell into a deeper silence, like it was holding its breath. Before I could step into the hall, she turned the lock with a soft click and looked over her shoulder at me. "Well," she said, voice low and steady, "now you've got no excuse." By the time I came back the next evening, it was already dark. Matt was on the couch downstairs, headset on, gaming with someone loud in his ears. I told him I left my wallet upstairs. He barely glanced at me. "Go for it," he muttered, mashing buttons. "Don't trip over my charger this time." The hallway was dim, lit only by the faint yellow glow seeping out from under her door. I paused before knocking. Something about the light made everything feel softer, quieter, like the house was pushing the rest of the world away. I tapped once. The door opened before I could finish the second knock. She stood there barefoot, legs bare, an oversized hoodie hanging loose over one shoulder. This time, she didn't say a word. She just stepped aside, and I walked in. The room smelled faintly of perfume and laundry. A single lamp was on by the bed, casting a warm halo across her pillows. Music played low from her phone, slow, ambient, almost underwater. She sat on the bed, cross-legged, watching me. "You came back," she said softly. Yeah." She raised an eyebrow. You didn't have to. Not really. I shrugged. Didn't I? For a moment, neither of us moved. Then she reached behind her and pulled something off the bed. Her hoodie from yesterday. Folded neatly. She tossed it to me. Here. Keep it. I caught it midair. Why? She looked at me. Because now it smells like me. And later it'll smell like you. I want it back when it does. That sentence did something to me. It rewired the air in the room. My fingers tightened around the fabric. She patted the space beside her. I sat, slower this time, more aware of the space we were occupying together. So, she said, tucking one leg under the other, are we pretending this is still an accident? I swallowed. Doesn't feel like one. She tilted her head. Good. Her knee touched mine. She didn't move away. I didn't either. Downstairs, Matt yelled something at his game. Then laughter. Then footsteps. Someone else had come over. Voices. Front door. The house was no longer quiet. Her eyes darted to the door. He better not come up here. I said. Should I leave? She looked at me. Do you want to? I didn't answer. She leaned closer. I could feel the warmth from her skin now. She placed a hand gently on my thigh. Not possessive, not rushed. Just contact. It was more electric than anything else so far. I turned to face her fully, my heart hammering. She didn't blink. Her lips parted just slightly. Then her phone buzzed. We both froze. She checked the screen. Matt, where's my hoodie? The gray one. You see it? She looked at me and smiled. Guess you better hide that. She nodded to the hoodie in my lap. He'll recognize it. I tucked it under her pillow. She stared at me as I did it, like she liked that I listened. More footsteps downstairs. A girl's voice now. Matt's girlfriend, maybe. She knocked on something, probably the fridge, then called out, You coming down? She didn't answer, just looked at me. Her voice lowered again. Tomorrow. Tomorrow. Same time. No one will be here. Just us. I hesitated. How do you know? Her smile returned. Because I told Matt I'd be out. And I lied. Outside the room, footsteps came up the stairs. Closer. 2 sets. Talking. She pushed her finger to her lips, nodded to the closet. Again. I slipped in, barely closing the door in time. Her bedroom door opened. Hey, Matt's voice. You got my charger? And the hoodie. I'm using it, she replied casually. You let me borrow it last week, remember? A pause. Then, fine. Can I at least borrow your charger? No, she said. It's in use. He groaned and closed the door. Footsteps retreating. I waited 10 seconds. Then 20. The closet door creaked as I opened it again. She stood with her back to me now, looking out the window. You okay? I asked. She turned slowly. Next time, she said. We won't stop. The next day was colder. Wind pushed through the trees outside, and clouds threatened rain. I wasn't supposed to be there. Not today. But something about the way she said, next time we won't stop, kept looping in my head. I told Matt I'd left something again. My charger, wallet, whatever. And he said, just grab it, man. I'm heading to the store with Dad. Be back in half an hour. Perfect. I climbed the stairs slowly this time. Her door was closed. No light under it. I knocked once. No answer. Then it opened. She pulled me in by my sleeve without a word. Slammed the door. Locked it. Pressed her finger to her lips. I heard it then, the unmistakable sound of someone else in the house. Whispers. Movement. Who? I started. She leaned in close. Her breath brushed my ear. Matt forgot something. He came back. With his girlfriend. My stomach dropped. What? They're downstairs, she whispered. In the kitchen. I should go. She shook her head. Too late. He'll hear the door. We stood frozen for a second, just listening. Muffled laughter floated up. The scrape of a chair. She pulled me toward the closet. Again. But this time, she stopped halfway. No, she said. Not this time. She walked to her window, cracked it open, then turned to me. Come on. I blinked. What? We waited out. I hesitated, then followed. The cold air slipped in as we sat on the floor near the window, backs against the wall. Our knees touched. Her hands were cold, tucked inside the sleeves of that same gray hoodie, the one I'd hidden last time. She was wearing it again. That hoodie's gonna get us both killed, I muttered. She smiled. You kept it hidden for me. That means something. Does it? Her smile faded. She looked down at her hands. Yeah, it does. We sat there like that for a few minutes. Close, quiet. The wind outside masked the sounds downstairs. Then she turned her head and looked at me. Really looked. I used to hate you, she said. I laughed. Thanks. No, I mean it. You were loud, annoying, always following Matt around. You never even talked to me. Exactly. I smirked. And now, she didn't look away. Now I can't stop thinking about you. That hit harder than I expected. We didn't speak. We didn't have to. She reached into the pocket of the hoodie and pulled something out. A folded piece of paper. Handed it to me without a word. I opened it. Her handwriting, small and slanted. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. My window will be open. Come in that way. I looked up. She stared at me, unreadable. This isn't a game, she said. I know. This could mess everything up. I nodded. Still worth it. She leaned forward. Slow, deliberate, and kissed me. It wasn't hungry or wild. It was quiet, real. We both jumped at the sound of footsteps on the stairs. Her eyes widened. Closet, she hissed. I moved, but it was too late. The doorknob turned. She ran to the door, cracked it open just as Matt's face appeared. There you are, he said. Thought you were asleep. Headache, she replied quickly. Lying down. He peeked in. You seen my buddy? His car's out front. I froze, still on the floor behind the bed. She didn't flinch. I think he left. Maybe out back. Matt paused, then nodded. All right, we'll be out soon. Don't burn the house down. Door closed. Silence. She turned to me, chest rising fast. Tomorrow, she whispered. Window. Promise. I nodded. She walked over, pulled the hoodie off, and draped it over my lap. Wear it next time, if you're serious. The next evening, I waited a full 5 minutes before climbing the fence. Her window was cracked open just like the note said. The curtains moved gently in the breeze. Inside, the room glowed golden orange from a small desk lamp. It looked empty. I tapped once on the frame. She pulled it open from the inside. No words, just a look. Urgent. Quiet. Her hand reached for mine and I climbed in. My feet hit the carpet. Her fingers lingered on my wrist. You came. I nodded. She closed the window and locked it. Phone. I pulled it from my pocket. She took it, turned it off, and dropped it in a drawer. No distractions, she whispered. No one knows you're here? I hesitated. Told my sister I was at the gym. She arched an eyebrow. And I bailed on my shift. Left Josh waiting at the studio. Big deal. I had a job tonight. He's gonna be pissed. She crossed her arms. Why'd you do that? You already know. That cracked something in her. Just slightly. She looked away, rubbing her wrist. This is starting to feel dangerous. You mean it wasn't already? She didn't smile, just sat down on the edge of the bed and stared at the carpet. Her voice softened. Do you know how long it's been since someone lied for me? I shook my head. 2 years, she said. Not since Liam. I sat beside her. She spoke like the words had been waiting behind her teeth for days. He didn't cheat. He just left, packed a bag and said he felt like a stranger in his own house. We were married 3 years and he said I wasn't the same person anymore. What did you say? Nothing. I didn't beg, didn't cry. I just let him go. She was quiet for a moment, then added, everyone still thinks I'm fine, perfect, funny, put together. But no one comes into this room. Not unless they're invited. I looked at her, really looked. You invited me. She nodded slowly. I did. The silence between us didn't feel empty. It felt full of everything we hadn't said yet. Then she moved closer. Her hand slid behind my neck, slow and unsure for the first time. When she kissed me, it was different. Less heat. More ache. We didn't rush. The lamp buzzed. Car passed outside. Her head rested against my shoulder. Hoodie sleeves wrapped around her arms like armor. That's when we heard it. A knock. Not on her door, on the front door downstairs. Voices. Muffled but close. Her back straightened. Someone's home. I moved to the window, peeked through the curtain. Matt's girlfriend. And behind her, Matt. He came back early? I hissed. He wasn't supposed to be back until 10. We froze. Footsteps on the porch. Then inside. She grabbed my hand. Closet. Now. No. What? Not hiding again. Then what? I grabbed the hoodie from the floor, her hoodie, and slipped it on. Pulled the hood low. Bathroom. 2 doors down. I'll pretend I was just grabbing something. If anyone sees me, they'll ask questions. I'll lie again. I cracked open her bedroom door. The hallway was dim. I moved fast, silent. Reached the bathroom. Turned on the light. Ran the faucet. Voices grew louder. Matt's laugh. A creak of the stairs. Then a voice lower. Male. Not Matt. You sure he's gone? His car's not there. I locked the bathroom door and stared into the mirror. My heart was pounding so hard I felt it in my teeth. After 2 long minutes, everything went still again. Then, a knock on the bathroom door. Hey! Matt called out. You in there? I opened the door casually. Yeah, sorry. I was upstairs grabbing that speaker you let me borrow. He squinted. Didn't know you were here. Didn't think you were either. He eyed the hoodie. That's hers, right? I froze. She said I could borrow it. A pause. Then he shrugged. Whatever. He walked away. I exhaled so hard it felt like my ribs collapsed. 10 minutes later, I climbed out the same window. The wind was colder now. Sky darker. Before I left, she handed me another note. Wednesday, 5:30. My room. No window this time. Just walk in. She looked me in the eyes. Still worth it? She asked. I didn't blink. Every second, I said. Wednesday, 5:29 p.m. I stood in front of her door, heart punching from the inside. No window this time. No back way in. Just me, the hallway, and whatever came next. Downstairs, Matt's car wasn't in the driveway. The house was still. Her door was closed, but the light under it was warm, steady. I didn't knock. I turned the knob and stepped inside. She was sitting on the bed, legs crossed, hoodie draped over her shoulders like a cape. No music, no phone, just her waiting. Her eyes flicked up. You're late. I'm right on time. She stood and walked toward me. No rush, no smile. When she stopped inches from my chest, she looked up, serious, unreadable. Last chance to walk away. I didn't move. She leaned forward and kissed me like the space between us had been waiting all day to collapse. And then we stopped waiting. There were no voices this time. No interruptions. No hiding. Only skin, heat, quiet breathing. Her hands in my hair, mine on the back of her neck, the hoodie slipping to the floor like it was never meant to stay on. Her breath against my collarbone. My name said softer than I'd ever heard it. Nothing else existed. Later, we lay under her blanket. The lamp hummed nearby. Her head was on my chest, fingers tracing patterns over my ribs. She spoke first. "So now what?" I exhaled. "That depends." "On what?" "On whether we're done pretending." She was quiet for a long time. Then, "What if we're not?" I looked down at her. "Then we do this for real, and take whatever comes." She closed her eyes. "Matt's going to lose his mind." "Probably." She smiled against my skin. "Still worth it." Still. A week later. It was raining. Light drizzle on the windows. I stood at her door again, hoodie in my arms. Matt had just left with his girlfriend. Keys jingling, engine humming away. House was quiet again. I knocked once. She opened the door fast, like she'd been right behind it. This time I didn't say a word, just held out the hoodie. She took it slowly. "Smells like you now." That was the deal. She tossed it aside and kissed me, smiling into it. "I missed you. I was here 2 days ago." Still. She grabbed my hand and pulled me inside, closed the door behind us. It didn't lock. 3 weeks later. Every Thursday, 5 p.m. That became the ritual. Matt thought I was taking night classes. My sister thought I was working overtime. No one asked too many questions. Every Thursday, I walked through her front door, past the pictures of their family on the hallway wall, past the living room where we used to sit like strangers, and up the stairs like I belonged there. And every Thursday, her door would already be slightly open. Just enough. Just for me. The door didn't creak. It didn't slam. It just closed, slow and soft, and the sound of it stayed in my ears long after she pulled me in.